Hey, what is going on YouTube? This is Jim back with another video. I am live, at least when I recorded this, up in Jacksonville, Florida on a business trip. So apologies for my less than optimal setup. I am leaning my camera against my laptop in a very small hotel room, and directly to my left is a window with the highway very, very close to that. So you might hear some road noise, and oh well. I wanted to get this video out today though because I've been really engrossed in this game on GamePass and I wanted to talk about it. It's called Children of Morta. Now, if you're a fan of my YouTube channel and if you've watched any of my previous content, you know that I love roguelite games and I think that it is a phenomenal genre. This game definitely falls under that, and it is a clone in a sense of Diablo, where it has a very hack and slash type mentality with that roguelike layer on top of it, with an engrossing story element on top of that. Essentially, you play as a family who is plagued, in a sense, with ridding the world of this evil. And as you begin to unwrap what is going on, and as the narrative begins to grow, you start to really understand why the family is taking such an interest in this. You initially start off playing as the father, but eventually you'll work your way through most of the family. There are a lot of playable characters, all with different skills, all with different abilities that play very, very differently. If you like melee or ranged or something in between, there's probably a character for you. Now, one of the cool things that this game does is as you level each character, you actually benefit not only them, but you have, as you put more skill points into that character, you actually benefit the family. And the cool thing about benefiting the family is that everybody gains from it. So everybody will get more health, or more attack power, or faster movement speed. So it's definitely a game to embrace all of the characters with. Not saying you have to, but the truth is that when you get to the end of some of these dungeons and you have to fight the boss, they're difficult. And having that little extra health or damage may be the difference between continuing on and a run going south and having to stop and quit. The reality is that you're gonna find a character you like and play with them, but it's definitely in your best interest to experiment. As you play through the game, as with other roguelites, you're going to begin to uncover new abilities, or things in the world are going to make more sense to you than they did before. So first time you play through, you're going to find these shrines that don't make any sense. Eventually, when you uncover that the shrines are these temporary buffs that can be utilized during your playthrough, then that part of the world becomes more clear. Additionally, there is a lot of procedural generated rooms. As a matter of fact, the whole game is procedurally generated. You may stumble across shopkeepers or other characters who are willing to help you. Mini games, dungeons that like small, like wave type, where fight 10 waves in a row to win or something, that unlock a reward that will give you unique and powerful items that will help you on that run, and then ultimately can be unlocked, via buying stuff in the shop. If each run you're having a hard time, you can invest in upgrading characters in terms of everybody gets more health, or everybody gets more damage or attack speed. You can also modify how much each buff helps a character, so you have a couple options on how you want to spend your money. Those are permanent upgrades, and that's pretty standard with roguelike games, where you basically, as you play, you will eventually outgrind the system. It's just how long will that take you to do. There's definitely a skill ceiling in this game. It's important to know that you're going to be attacking and defending in basically a twin stick shooter style. So it's easy to get lost in the offensive side, but there is a block and a parry system, which isn't necessarily required with a ranged character, but as a melee character is absolutely essential to understand. That will help you as well. So if you just kind of stink at the game and you just plow through, fear not, you will eventually earn enough gold and you will level up enough that you will be able to just plow through the game. But if you want to do it with a bit more finesse and you want to get those deeper runs in, this is definitely one of those games to do that. I think it's probably impossible to beat it in one playthrough. I mean, there are some roguelike games where you will upgrade your character to god tier status. Risk of Rain definitely comes to mind in this, so does Dead Cells. In those types of games where you're basically going to be building up so much power that towards the end of the game you are untouchable, you don't get that level of upgrades and perks in this game that will give you that ability, but it will make things easier in subsequent playthrough you know, as you play through that, and not subsequent because you lose it when you die, but in that playthrough you will find things easier. And there have been runs that I've gotten much farther because I've gotten items that help me much more than other items that I've gotten. And that's just kind of the way that this thing works. If you're familiar with roguelike games, then you understand you might just have a bad run. Unlike roguelike games, there is no skill system, so in between leveling, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. There is a skill system that is a persistent skill system, but it's not like a perk system that you've seen in games like Nuclear Throne, for example, where after every level or two, you get something that kind of defines the weapons and a loadout you have. This game doesn't do that. Everything is persistent, and it's more like a traditional RPG in that sense. And for that reason, it is a little bit harder to experiment because your skill points take a little bit harder to earn. And once you put a point in them, you're not getting it back. And you may find later on that you like something better and you kind of regret wasting a skill point on something that you could have spent it on something else. Although the way they do the tiered leveling system, you do have to put in a particular amount of points in order to unlock the next tree. And skill points are unique to each character. So if you're playing a lot with the archer character, for example, you can't suddenly go the melee character and take all those points and spend them on him. You're going to have to earn them with him as well. So in that sense, there's not like a way you can like power level a character or anything like that. Ultimately, I think this game is phenomenal. I love the art style. It's very, very pixelated, but it works. I think it conveys a lot of emotion. I think the fact that they have a narrator who speaks over everything, very similar to like a Bastion type game, really, really creates a great ambiance and mood as well. I did get this on GamePass. I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning of this video or not, but I kind of wish I had it on Switch instead. It definitely lends itself to more of a pick up and play and put away type thing. You're going to be doing these quick runs that last anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, ultimately going to end in your bloody and miserable defeat, and you're going to be frustrated because you got some really cool item or gear that you're going to have to say goodbye to. But I feel like it lends itself better to Switch. As a result, I'm highly debating stop playing it on Xbox and picking it up on Switch, even though I don't have to pay for it. I think it lends itself better to that, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot more than a traditional sit-down console experience, where for me at least, my time there is dedicated more to bigger console games that require more processing power. I think this game would look phenomenal on the Switch, but it looks very, very impressive on the Xbox One X, and it handles particularly well with a nice smooth frame rate and all of that. But again, since it's a pixel art type game, I don't necessarily expect any kind of performance hitches anywhere. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap up this video here. I hope you guys found this informative. If you didn't know about this game, maybe you do. And if you're like my friend Matt, who wasn't really familiar with roguelites at all, welcome. There are a lot of great games out there. This is definitely one of my absolute favorite genres, and I think that this game has done itself well. As you guys know, I don't give review scores on this game, but on my channel rather, and I won't be giving one on this game, but I highly recommend this game. The name of the game is Children of Morta. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and tolerating the less than optimal recording. I'll be back at home as soon as I can be home, and we'll get back to some nice high quality unboxings and some other videos I got planned over the next week or so. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.